Hello, and welcome to another episode of Eric's Philosophy Talk videos. In this episode, Eric discusses how you shouldn't be mean, or stingy, or afraid. He also will have underneath his talking classical music for the first time ever. Why? Because somebody suggested it. If you'd like to see Eric talk about something in particular, or have some idea like this, like, hey, put classical music under it or something, dude, then put that in a comment on the YouTube thing, and maybe I'll do it. You never know. Probably I will. I'd be shocked if anybody comments, right? I didn't really time this very well. See, I recorded this classical music on my computer from YouTube, and then I ran autoduck on it. But I generated just a big chunk of noise in the middle of it to just say, that's good enough. That's where I autoduck it. And then I'm going to stick the audio file into Windows Live Movie Maker. Anyway, so this is about where the autoduck kicks in. So enjoy. Hello, my name is Eric, and I'm calling today to talk to you about our pledge drive, and I'm hoping that you will pledge 4 hours of your time during the course of the next 2 weeks to watching these videos. That's right, it's a pledge drive for time. You don't have to call, though, or pledge anything, or watch any videos. So it's kind of a different kind of pledge drive. I don't even want you to do any of those things necessarily, but I would like you to watch the videos. That'd be cool. I don't know, maybe Matt might watch, and Matt watched one of them, I know. I think he might have watched maybe 2 of them. Possibly, I really don't know. I think Campbell might have watched one or 2 of them. These talking videos. They're not paced for, an action-packed consumption experience. If you're a smoker, they probably make you want to smoke a lot. If you're not a smoker, they probably make you want to judge a lot. So this video, don't be mean, and don't be stingy. And specifically, I'm sort of going to pitch a communitarian value here. Not obviously any obligation, but that it's nice to be somebody who contributes to the group good. And each of us generates a certain amount of information. Thoughts, feelings, whatever. Just random information. Each little packet of information we generate has the potential to be useful to someone, somewhere, in some context. Even if it's nonsense. Now, to a certain extent, there is a level of background noise information that's not really useful per se, such as a grocery list. Except it might be useful in a couple hundred years to a direct descendant who'd be curious about the life of his ancestor or something like that, right? Might be. At any rate, we use meaning packets, little chunks, little narratives, little links, little abstract models, big abstract models. Some of them are consistent with one another, some of them are not. Some people have an active paradigm mechanism, and some people don't, right? Everyone functions as though they have one, in the sense that, or as though they didn't have one of the two, Even if you function as though you didn't have one, that means simply you're amoral and you're unrestrained. I guess I'm talking about ethics primarily. But few people feel any compelling need to have that model be rationally consistent. Few people encounter very many ethical decisions, or so they believe. However, even in believing that, what's happening? Well, they're defaulting to a ethical system that doesn't require altruism, first of all, which is fine. I agree with that as well. But they're also not really thinking about how non-obligatory altruism might be worthwhile anyway. And most of all, what they're not thinking about is how mean it is to deny everyone access to their meanings. It's very mean, very stingy. So, if you're somebody who makes stuff, if it's like, I don't know, like a homemade card to grandma or something, take a picture, put it on Facebook. To me, it's still useful if it's bad too. It's like, oh, dude, I'm totally excited that you put this shitty thing on Facebook because, one, it means I could talk to you about it. Like, not accusatorily, not like, oh, that sucks. Like, you're doing the right thing right now. You are doing your job. Thank you. Right? If you've made a bunch of stuff and you don't want to be on display, you don't want to be an exhibitionist, you are living in Victorian England where a bunch of antiquated values unrelated to the actual world in which we live are controlling you without your actively questioning them. The reality is, identity is not a moment in time, it is a cumulative project. You are building it from the moment you first develop the capacity to symbolize meaning, which is the only way in which, well, the capacity to symbolize reality. It happens when you make reality by becoming a human, by developing language. Hello? Who is it? Who is it? I'm explaining the nature of human existence and stuff. Which was what? What did I say? Okay, so where was I?
Were you talking to someone?
No, I'm talking to the videotape machine. The videotape machine. Inside this laptop, there's a videotape. It's a magnetic tape. It's a VHS tape. And it goes inside this laptop.
Do you have the heater on?
No, it's a little fan. I'm admiring my very large nose.
Can you tell me your schedule for today? Or if you have
Yes.
a schedule? Or...
I do have a schedule. At 2:45, I'm catching the trolley to the Poop Gathering Festival. Once there, I'm going to attempt to gather. Candace, I'm joking! Why aren't you amused by that hilarious joke?
Because you're going to give me a real answer.
I don't have anything scheduled. My afternoon's open. Would you like to do something?
For like 7, even later.
I understand. Where was I? So, being stingy, being mean, is denying access to things of value that you generate while taking advantage of things of value that other people generate, right? I mean, it's not unfair per se because the reason the system works is it's completely voluntary and free. You don't have to contribute anything. You just consume. You can choose to consume all free stuff. You can choose to consume all pay media. Blah, blah, blah. The whole system works because you are free not to. Absolutely you're free not to. I am not saying you have any obligation, ethical or otherwise, But what you do have, in my mind, is an inevitability of regret, first of all, because to me, hiding away that which you do, unavoidably, is motivated by fear. And if you are a maker by nature, and I think many of us are, but not all of us, but I mean, I'm going to say not all of us because I'm assuming there are exceptions. But I think most of us are makers by nature. We want to create something that expresses or reflects or manifests our truths, it says who we are, establishes a bit of ourselves for posterity, right? What these call for posterity. Well, I guess they still call it that. But I think we have a different understanding of that now. When you don't have to publish a book to leave something behind for posterity. Well, everyone should be leaving everything behind as they go through the world. Why not? What's the harm of having those pieces of information available to others? Either you're doing something unethical, in which case, shame on you, and you should be exposed, which is not 99.999% of the time is not the case. Or you're just being ruled by fear. And I get fear. I have fear too. Everybody has fear. But the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, as FDR said famously, obviously. But I reference it because it's rare that I'm going to cite a famous quotation as famous as that one. But it's really fucking true. Fear is the killer of us all. So fear is the killer of us all. But I will say this: that's not the only risk, and not everything is motivated by it. One of my issues is gluttony. Obviously, I'm a non-drinking alcoholic, can't drink, so that's not fear-based. I'm not trying to hide some pain or whatever. I'm a glutton. It's my vice. But I understand that well enough to restrict myself in that area so that I don't allow myself to drink at all. Because I know if I do, I'll engage in gluttony regarding that. And that's going to produce problems for me. Not fear-based. The solution is not fear-based, and neither is the problem. You might think the solution is fear-based. Well, it was at first, I guess, for sure. I was terrified at a point in my life of losing my wife and all that other stuff. But the ongoing maintenance of the solution is not fear-based at all. I don't need fear now at all to stare at alcohol. I have a healthy respect for alcohol. I don't ever want to go near it, ideally, but I'm not afraid of it. People come over to my house and they drink sometimes, and that's fine. Although I didn't enjoy when Liz spilled the beer in my garage, I had to clean up the beer because that's a little too close for comfort for me. So I mean, yeah, there's healthy fear I have for that. As well, I should. I know from plenty of data that I'm not strong enough to beat that, and I can also know that by just staying away from it, I have successfully defeated it every day, indefinitely, as long as I just stay away from it. That's winning enough for me. I don't need to face man to man and knock it down. It'll beat me every time. So, that's me acknowledging that there are fear issues I deal with as well, of course, but also distinguishing between what I would call healthy fear and crippling fear, because most of the fear that we deal with is crippling fear. It's of the crippling variety, such as, well, I don't want to put this out, it's not done, it's not good enough, or whatever, I'll be embarrassed. Social failure, that's where we experience the most failure, the most fear from. At any rate, so the message of this is don't be mean, don't be stingy. But underlying that message is don't be afraid. Know this, I got your back. And it's a pretty powerful ally. I mean, everyone says, "Oh, you're so arrogant." No, I'm saying like, if somebody wants to call you out for your failures and whatever it is you make, or if somebody thinks you're being show offy, or somebody thinks you're being exhibitionist or on display, or I got your back. That's what I'm saying. I'll fucking throw down for that shit. No problem. Anytime, any day. You know, Russell Brand, you can suck my dick. He used that word, exhibitionist. Self-loathing Russell Brand, and you're an idiot too with your politics, by the way. Your political show, I've seen ample transcripts of your talking, and it's your political theory is completely incoherent. Okay, it has no consistency. It, keep talking about the problem as though it's some sort of solution you're presenting, and you do nothing but assume causal relationships that are often the opposite of the real one, and he's just such a fucking idiot. You have a chance, though. You have a chance to be really, really smart. Too much success too early. Maybe you're gonna watch this video someday, Russell Brand. And I need you to call me, alright? I'm gonna fucking straighten you out. You're a fellow former addict, alcoholic person, or whatever you. I don't know what you were addicted to. It wasn't alcohol. Maybe it was alcohol and something else. I don't know. And you're clever. You're an ENTP, just like me. Now, granted, you're younger, so that explains a lot. But people are a lot more advanced a lot earlier now. Call me, okay? More, put it this way. But you leave me a YouTube message, or you can leave me a Facebook message or whatever, because I have a public Facebook page. Shoot me a Facebook message. And we communicate electronically first. And then after that, if I feel comfortable, we'll give it a number. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye, Russell Brand. I'm serious, though. If anybody who happens to watch the video knows Russell Brand, you tell him. He needs to start talking to from Eric. Alright? The end.